Unbelievable. Sheer outrage. How dare they? But just you wait. This is not over yet.
Hello? Rarity? In case y'all ain't noticed, the sketch has started. And it don't really make that good of an impression to newcomers if the first thing they hear in this episode is you mumbling curses to yourself.
Yeah, what the fuck is your deal now? Is there ever a time when you're not in a state of mad?
Well, excuse me, princess. Some of us have more going on in their lives than just having to show up for this weekly shit show.
Okay, so I guess the reason you're upset is something to do with that Cantaloupe Club you're still trying to please. Is it by the way not weird that out of all arcs in this series, this lame-ass fucking country club plot is getting the most episodes? And that thing about Chrysalis and Sumted Shimmer teaming up got dealt with in just 2.
Yeah, I mean at this very moment, Spike is on his way to the Dragonlands to fulfill his destiny and challenge Malifaux the Dark Master to a battle of good and evil that will most likely determine the fate of this entire world. And meanwhile, we're stuck here having to listen to this. And so is the viewer.
Like, what the fuck are your priorities, Robotus?
Maybe he just knows that I am by far the most relatable and endearing pony of our cast.
Yeah, in light of some of the things you said recently, I highly fucking doubt that.
Honestly, who gives a shit? Just tell us what you're mad about so we can move on with our day.
Very well. You were right, Pinky. I am indeed upset about my ongoing endeavors to become the new Fancy Pants. More precisely about all the rocks constantly getting thrown in my way. At first it seemed like my plan would be a success. I had my crystal statue delivered to me via express ferry and it arrived about 3 days later.
3 days for the delivery of a 10-foot-tall statue of a unicorn and overseas too. Nope, not buying it.
Just suspend your disbelief, darling, and listen. Like I was saying, first I was led to believe that my plan would work because when the member committee heard of what I had done, they immediately contacted me and admitted that this action was befitting the rank of royal. So last weekend I went to visit the clubhouse again to obtain my new rank and throw my hat into the ring for the title of Fancy Pants. But on my way in, I was stopped by 2 familiar faces. You might remember them from that Season 2 episode where I met Fancy Pants, those other high-class ponies. Jet Set and Upper Crust?
Yeah, no,
Never heard
doesn't ring
those
a
people.
bell.
Sorry, no
Those
idea
are
who
indeed
that
the
is.
names of ponies.
Okay, never mind then. Anyway, they stepped in my way and told me that despite what the others had said, I was actually not yet eligible to become a royal. They argued that I was no longer rich enough to be a real royal, mainly because I can no longer rely on Spike's monthly payments since he stopped sipping for me.
What? That's a bunch of bullcrap if I ever seen one. Even without them like 300 bits from Spike, you're still ridiculously rich. You're probably the richest pony in all of Equestria.
Merely in wealth. But as Chet said argued, being rich is not simply about possessing money, it's also about making money. And those other royals do earn a greater monthly sum than I do at the moment.
But isn't there still that whole blood diamond business?
Well, of course, I didn't say that I'm not making money at all. Just not enough.
AJ is right, though. This smells like a big pile of BS. To me, it looks an awful lot like those 2 conspired against you.
Indeed. They know as well as I that the one pony in the club who is the fanciest shall be elected as the new Fancy Pants. And no pony can deny that that is me.
So they really have it out for you. Is that even allowed?
Unfortunately, yes. Jet Set was unapologetically open about his intentions and made no secret of the fact that he was directly targeting me. In the foundations of the Candlelit Country Club for Candlelit Ponies, however, it reads that treacherous conspiracies against single members are not only tolerated but highly encouraged.
Really? But that is so mean!
Perhaps, but nevertheless an integral part of the experience. I mean, don't you girls know those historical Renaissance drama shows? Treason and deceit are just as important in the life of a royal as virtue and manners.
Well, if you say so. And what does that mean now? Are y'all now out of the race for the Fancy Pants title?
As of now. But there's still time. The election process will still be going for about another month to make sure every member casts their vote. I might have come out bottom that day, but Jet said would better not think I'd give up just yet. If I can manage to attain an additional income that I can add to my monthly blood money, then I'll be able to stomp out all my competition. And so the problem I'm currently faced with is, how am I gonna do that? Do any of you maybe have an idea what I could do?
Oh, what's that? You want to earn money? I think the usual route is to go get a job then.
Wow, thank you for this life-saving advice. As if that wasn't fucking obvious. But what kind of job would that even be? What the rest of you do to make a living? Is any pony here even employed?
Psh, duh, we all are.
Wait, really? I thought all those career moments we all had in the show were just part of the narrative. So does that mean you actually work in Sugarkeep Corner, Pinky?
No. But ever since I got really married to Cheese Sandwich, I've been employed in his fun factory. I'm responsible for managing his contacts, planning shows with his clients, sealing with paperworks, and of course writing funny jokes and one-liners for him. I mean, some pony has to take care of the business part of his business, so why not the wife?
Okay, now you got me confused. So you all do have jobs, but they are different from what the show had established?
Well, I'd say it's so-and-so. I, for one, actually work on my own farm. I even used to be its owner and CEO.
Used to be?
Yeah. Unfortunately, in the aftermath of that whole money man thing, Model Sis became the rightful owner of the farm's documents. And by extension, that makes her the CEO now. I'm still employed on the farm and my work hasn't changed. I just earn significantly less now.
I see. And Fluttershy's animal shelter?
As if any pony actually sincerely gave a damn about animals in need. Everyone knows you do that just to make yourself look good. But I for one don't need no stupid jobs. I proudly live off the state.
Ah, so in other words, you're a parasite.
That is a subjective expression, Twilight. I just don't have that high standards to my living conditions. Why else do you think I live in a cottage plagued with critters? Certainly not because I enjoy their company so much. Though the actual reason is that it's actually Harry's cottage. My husband was so nice to let me live with him.
You know, it's been so long since anyone mentioned it, I actually had forgotten that human Fluttershy isn't the only fucking zoophile in the series. That you're married to a bear.
Though one could argue that this version is less repulsive as they are both at least somewhat feral. And even though he doesn't really speak, Harry also appears to have some kind of sentience. I'd say it's a gray area in this case.
Still, I could have done with you not bringing that up again at all.
All right, then enough of that. I suppose you're not actually a member of the Wonderbolts, then?
What? Of course I am. Oh, do you seriously believe that the actual military of Equestria would allow a civilian into their ranks just because of some stupid TV show? All those trials I took on as my character, they were real. And ever since I passed them, I am an official member of the Wonderbolts.
I find that kinda hard to believe. If you're part of the military, how come you're always here? Apart from our trip to Philadelphia a few weeks back, I don't think you've left Ponyville in over a year.
Well, true, but trust me, it all makes sense. I might be a member, but not on active duty. I'm a reserve trooper. Which means I get a monthly payment for my service and at the same time I'm free to do whatever I like. Until Equestria gets into a war, that is, then my ass is gonna be drafted straight to the front. But don't worry, I already have an entire plan prepared for how I'm gonna feign my death when that happens. You'll then be able to find me under my new name, Thundercloud.
A name so creative to match the likes of Donut Steel. But to finish this topic, I am sort of employed by the state of Equestria. As a princess, I have my duties to fulfill, and in return I get paid a monthly sum from the pony's taxes.
Great. So in summary, you all have some paying work to go after, excluding Fluttershy. And yet you still find the time to partake in these stupid sketches. I can hardly make time for that even now.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong there, Rare, but ain't y'all in the same place?
What? What do you mean?
What about your boutique? Ain't you working there?
Oh, no, you silly pony. I'm merely the owner of that business, but I wouldn't lift a hoof there myself if my life depended on it. That's the thing, girls. I just cannot be asked to work for a living. It is simply not fit for a pony of nobility to work in an ordinary job.
Then I'm afraid you're in a little impasse there, Rarity. How else are you gonna make enough money to surpass your competitors? I mean, you can hardly just employ yourself.
That's it!
Well, what's it?
What you just said, it's perfect. I'm simply gonna employ myself in my boutique and pay myself a ridiculously high monthly salary. I'm thinking of something along the lines of 6,000 bits. Combined with the blood money I make, my income increases to an enormous sum. More than any other Canterlot pony makes.
Maybe it's the normie speaking out of me, but how is that gonna work? I mean, it's still just your own money. You're not getting any richer doing that.
Indeed, but that is not what I need anyway. Chad said did choose his words very peculiarly. And poorly, as every pony can read them for themselves in the meeting protocol. It doesn't matter so much what I have, rather than what I make. And with the financial boost of my own salary, I will be blowing my competition away.
Okay, honestly, I know this whole club thing has for the most part been pretty nonsensical, but I just have to call bullshit here. There is no conceivable way this idea is actually gonna work.
Maybe not from a normal pony's perspective, but trust me, a cantaloupe pony knows when she's winning. And right now, I have never been more sure of it.
I mean, it's not like anything we say's gonna change your mind or something. Go on with your idea then. We'll see how good it actually turns out.
Oh yes, we very much will. I will make sure you all get front row invitations to my ceremony.
Okay, now you're just toning fade, Rare. Get going.
What do you think, Gus? Is this crazy plan of ours going to work out?
Hard to say, Pinky. The way I know Robotus, both outcomes are equally plausible. I guess it depends on whether or not he wants this arc to end or not. But to be honest, it would surprise me if this is actually gonna be the end of it. Being the lazy writer he is, he's gonna moot this ongoing arc for as long as he can.
Cut to 1 month later. Just to make Twilight eat her words.
And with that, Miss Rarity, it is an unusually earnest pleasure for me to name you Fancy Pants, the new leader of our Cantaloupe Country Club for Cantaloupe Ponies, the fanciest one of us all. From this day forth, you shall be known as the one pony who's above all, whose virtue and grace inspire all of Equestria to strive for perfection. We as a whole trust in you to lead us into a glorious and fabulous future. Rise, Fancy Pants, and gaze upon those beneath you. We are all inferior to you, and we look upon you to bathe in your grace. Now, I would ask for an appropriate amount of applause, every pony.
Thank you, Jet Set. Thank you all very much. I would like to begin my career as this club's newest leader by giving a long-winded and pretentious speech about all the promises I intend to break. Think of it as my presidential inauguration. Now, let me begin by saying that I enjoy fading out.
Wow. It's not often that I'm this colossally wrong about something. Almost as if I was deliberately provoking this reaction so we could finally be rid of this stupid plotline.
Fines up, Twi. That stupid robot douche played right into it.
That's the one positive thing about having to deal with an asshole author like ours. You can always count on him trying to do the opposite of what we want to happen.
Or what he's made to think we want. Yeah, though honestly, I have a feeling he might have planned this exact turn of events from the start. And he just has you guys think you fooled him to actually fool us.
Oh, hard to say when all of us in the end are nothing but his interpretation of our characters. It generally is a very nebulous and unclear concept of how much of our own characters we are and how far Robotus has control over what we're doing and saying.
One would think the answer is simple, that he just controls everything. But it's actually a little more complicated than that. Trying to find the balance between making us do what he has planned and having us still be our own characters.
Yeah, we get it, Robotus. You have such a hard job and what you're doing is so remarkable.
And now he's roasting himself again because he doesn't know what else to do with this scene. Nice.
Thank fuck there's Rarity. Now we can continue with the actual sketch.
Hello, friends. So, what did I tell you? It all worked out in the end. And you seriously doubted me. Let this be a lesson to you. Rarity always gets her will.
Yes, I have to admit I didn't think this would work. But once again, the sheer stupidity of this world proved me wrong. By the way, did I hear that right before? Did you call the guy who gave you the title Jet Set?
I did, yes. It's a club tradition to rub salt in the wounds of our competitors by having the inauguration be performed by the pony who came second in the election. It was a very close call in the end, but Jet Set never stood a chance against me.
Still, I find that a little risky to publicly ridicule your greatest antagonist like that. Ain't you worried he's gonna try some new schemes to overthrow you?
No, not at all. Those rules that allow conspiracies against certain members and schemes to discredit some pony, they only apply to the period of election. I, as the new Fancy Pants, have outlawed any and all conspiracies and coups against me.
Wow, he really seemed to know what you're doing.
But of course, darling. Poor Jet Set should have picked his opponent better. If you make use of intrigues and deceit, you shouldn't be surprised when your opponent does so as well. In the end, all that matters is who is the better cheater. And no pony would stop at nothing to get what she wants, quite like Rarity. Or should I now rather say, Fancy Pants?
Okay then, I guess all I could say to that is congratulations. But you can forget any pony of us actually calling you Fancy Pants from now on.
I understand.